Hi everyone, Matthew here at AAWeatherWatch. We hope you've enjoyed the long weekend. Latest video brief now focusing on the rest of the week, obviously the final day of October today, and taking a look at the weather through into the early part of November. And the weather through the rest of the week will remain quite changeable, quite typical for the time of year. Some milder, cloudier and damp weather is in evidence at the moment across much of the country. That's in association with this region of clouds spilling northwards from the southwest. And importantly, southwesterly winds at any time of the year does mean relatively mild conditions. However, things will change towards the end of the week. We do have more weather systems approaching from the west and northwest, and those will introduce a change in wind direction from Thursday onwards. So we will see a downward trend in temperatures, certainly becoming quite chilly, if not rather cold, towards the end of the week and into the weekend. If we take a look at recent satellite and rainfall radar imaging, you can see a lot of cloud across the country. It is mostly cloudy out there, and particularly across parts of the north and west. Quite a messy scenario, obviously patchy and sporadic regions of mainly light or moderate rain or drizzle at times. And that will continue to be the case through the rest of the day. Again, particularly across more northern and western areas of the country. The further south and southeast you are, then generally the drier the weather will be. And perhaps some cloud breaks just becoming apparent across some southern and southeastern areas of the country too. So let's take a look at the forecast weather charts now to put the details onto the forecast. And through the rest of Tuesday, again, northern and western areas in particular, predominantly cloudy with some sporadic regions of rain and drizzle at times. The further south, and particularly the further southeast you are, then generally the drier the weather will be, and perhaps again the cloud breaking to allow for some brighter intervals. Importantly as well, with higher pressure essentially centred within this region here, what we do see is winds coming in from the south and southwest across the country, and that means obviously a relatively mild day, particularly compared with Sunday and Monday, which were certainly chilly, especially earlier on in each day. But again, south or southwesterly winds through the rest of the day essentially means milder conditions, but that is certainly set to change, as I've indicated, later on in the week. However, through the rest of Tuesday and overnight into Wednesday, and it will be across parts of the north and west where most of the cloudy and damp weather will be. So we move into Wednesday, the opening day of November, and essentially it is more of a north and south divide in the weather. Again, the further north and northwest you are, it will be mostly cloudy through Wednesday, with patchy outbreaks of rain and drizzle, perhaps especially so during the morning, but by the time we get through into the afternoon, the rain and drizzle generally becoming increasingly light and fragmented. As you can see, this is the latest weather chart for around about the middle of the day on Wednesday. The further south you are, again a reasonable day on Wednesday, certainly expected, the cloud breaking to allow for some brighter sunny intervals, and generally still quite mild as well through the course of Wednesday. Now, through the course of Wednesday evening and overnight into Thursday, we see generally a weak band of cloud moving southwards across the country, and that is what will introduce essentially a change in air mass and also a change in wind direction. However, the good news, by the time we get to the end of the week, there will be quite a lot of dry weather still around. However, importantly, by the time we get to Thursday, this is the weather chart for around about 6 o'clock on Thursday morning, we have an area of high pressure now becoming dominant to the west of the country. And with high pressure to the west, that means winds are then changing, completely changing than compared with today. By the time we get to Thursday and Friday, winds coming in from the north or northwest. And essentially, again, any wind direction change to the north or northwest will mean an obvious drop in temperatures, and that is what will mean a cooler, if not quite cold, rather cold end to the week, particularly compared obviously with the next 24 to 48 hours. But Thursday itself, a very pleasant day overall. High pressure is the influential and dominant feature of the weather. Yes, there will be variable amounts of cloud as the forecast charts show, but equally there's reasonable confidence to say there will be some brighter sunny intervals too, especially as the day progresses and through into the middle part of the afternoon. So a relatively decent day on Thursday. Emphasis certainly on a lot of dry weather, some brighter sunny intervals, but with quite a distinct and rather autumnal chill to the air. Now, through into Thursday evening and overnight, and the fine and dry weather will continue. The cloud perhaps breaking at times to allow for a pretty chilly night in places, especially rurally and across the countryside. So we move through into Friday morning, quite a chilly start to the day, but with relatively significant amounts of cloud, especially across parts of the north and west. And at the moment in time, the working week is forecast to end generally with an increasing risk of some rain and showers developing, but again primarily across more northern and western areas. So by the time we get to the end of Friday, this is the latest weather chart for around about 6 o'clock on Friday evening. You can see outbreaks of rain and showers just beginning to push into the north and west, but even then no widespread or significant heavy rain is expected, and the bulk of the country, as you can still see, is predominantly dry, even again with some brighter sunny intervals through the afternoon before sunset. And just a quick look, obviously we are only on Tuesday, but just a quick look as things stand, jumping ahead through into Saturday. And what is forecast to happen at the moment is we pick up more of a northwesterly wind, certainly moderate to fresh by the time I get to Saturday, and that will certainly make for a pretty chilly day as things stand. Scattered showers across parts of the north and west, otherwise still a lot of dry weather with some brighter sunny spells. And jumping ahead through into Sunday as things stand, and we get a ridge of high pressure, meaning a chilly autumn day, but a very pleasant day with some, again, early November sunshine, but frost and possible fog may well be a feature of the weather later on Sunday. So let's take a quick look at the temperatures now through the rest of the week, and as indicated, within the short term it is mild. That south-southwesterly wind means temperatures today quite widely up to 12, 13, 14, perhaps even 15 degrees Celsius, which is certainly above average now for late October. This evening and overnight, and temperatures certainly not falling very far, minimums 8 or 9 degrees. We move through into the opening day of November, and again, still overall a relatively mild day on Wednesday, particularly across southern areas. 13, 14 degrees certainly achievable, perhaps 11 or 12 overall, the further north and west you are. Through the course of Wednesday night and into Thursday, we do see a change to colder conditions, as I've indicated. We change to more of a north and northwesterly wind, and that does mean Wednesday night into Thursday at least, turning colder from the north. So by the time we get to Thursday morning, minimum temperatures perhaps just 4 or 5 degrees, maybe even low enough in the countryside at least, for perhaps a slight ground frost first thing on Thursday morning. Now, temperatures on Thursday certainly generally lower than obviously again the preceding 24 to 48 hours. Maximum temperatures probably no higher than around about 8 to 11 degrees Celsius, and another chilly night certainly possible on Thursday night and through into Friday. Again, ground frost certainly possible, perhaps even a local air frost in places, especially in the countryside across some central and northern areas. And we end the working week with temperatures generally where they should be for early November. Highs in the region around about 7 to 11 degrees overall, as ever. Obviously the highest temperatures always further south and southeast, temperatures lowest the further north and west you go. So let's summarise our weekly weather summary, covering the rest of the working week. Through into Tuesday, a mostly cloudy day obviously through the rest of the day, with patchy rain and drizzle at times, especially across more northern and western areas. Southern areas will, however, generally be drier. Through into Wednesday, we see more of a north and south divide in the weather. Again, the further north and west you are, another rather cloudy and damp day, with further patchy rain and drizzle at times. The further south you are, mainly dry. Yes, it will be rather cloudy, but some brighter weather is still possible. And then we end the working week with colder conditions developing from the north and northwest. A reasonable day on Thursday, a lot of fine and dry weather as high pressure dominates. Certainly quite cold and chilly, both early and late in the day, with overnight ground frost possible. And we end the working week at the moment still with a lot of dry weather, especially across central and southern areas, but perhaps with some rain and showers developing further north and west by the end of the day. So that's all the details in the latest weekly weather forecast, covering the rest of the week. And as ever, I'll be back with you later on in the week, taking a look at the weather for the forthcoming weekend. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch up with you soon.